What's going on, guys? RBG here, bringing you an extensive breakdown on the recently released Transformers Rise of the Beast teaser trailer. That's right, it's finally here from the officials themselves, and as the feature song says, it was all a dream, which is what this trailer feels like. But it's very much real, and we have a lot to break down within this awesome teaser, so stay tuned. Now, before we get started on the video, I gotta give a huge shout out to today's sponsor, TubeBuddy. As a successful YouTube user, I often get questions asking what I use to get my videos tons of views, and the answer to that is TubeBuddy. This thing has helped me take my channel to the next level in ways I never imagined. It's a browser extension that helps new and experienced YouTubers grow fast and optimize their channels. I've been using this extension for years and it's constantly getting updated with new features, like the SEO tool that helps me come up with the perfect title, description, and tags to get more people to click on my videos. It even provides you with analytics beside your videos to see how much traffic your video is generating from various social media sites. The extension is absolutely free, but as a special offer, we're giving a 50% discount for channels that have less than 1,000 subscribers that purchase the Pro upgrade. All you have to do is enter in the code RisingStarBuddy. So if you're interested in starting a YouTube channel or taking your content to the next level, download the extension now. You can do so by clicking on this link that'll be provided in the description of this video. But yes, guys, the marketing campaign for Transformers Rise of the Beast has officially begun. We had heard rumors swirling around the internet that Hasbro and Paramount were going to begin their promo run in December, and as soon as we landed on the first of the month, they came out the gate swinging with a trailer that essentially feels like a comic book splash page come to life. Like, this thing has everything that the G1 and Beast fans love from their respective eras, from the classic designs to the all-out epic battles. Now, I just want to clarify to those that are still scratching their heads in confusion on where this movie takes place. There are still quite a lot of you who are out of the know on if this movie serves as a prequel, a sequel, or a reboot. And to answer that, it's the latter two answers. It's a sequel to the 2018 Bumblebee movie that has pretty much served as the starting point to the newly rebooted Transformers movie universe. Understandably so, there has been some frustration from you guys on if these films are prequels to the Bayverse continuity. It's not your fault for thinking such, because Paramount and the writers of Bumblebee didn't really help matters. There were a lot of things such as Bee's overall aesthetic, the inclusion of Sector 7, and the ending that made it feel like a prequel. Like, even though there were a lot of glaring issues that contradicted what was already established in the Bay canon, you guys were convinced that this was a part of it. And Hasbro and Paramount haven't come out and confirmed what continuity it takes place in because they want you guys to go off of your own preconceived notions, but the writing's pretty much on the wall that this is a reboot, or at least a soft reboot. So yeah. But anyways, this trailer basically features all of the written details we got from those lucky enough to be in attendance at the behind closed doors showcasing held by Hasbro. We see the leading human protagonist Noah, an ex-military electronics expert, and Elena, who's an artifacts researcher. I'm not sure what they're looking for in this forest, but if I were to take a wild guess, it revolves around the main MacGuffin or artifact that all the Cybertronian factions are trying to race to obtain. My money is on the golden disc that was heavily sought after in the Beast Wars saga. Anyways, before they can get any further, a giant metal gorilla pounces and proceeds to pound his chest in rage. Some of you are probably asking yourself, who is this truck monkey mofo who's jumping out at the humans? And that is my favorite character, Optimus Primal. He's the leader of the Maximal faction, and man does he look great in this. Like, everything we've seen from the leaked toy images and key art was pretty much accurate to what he looked like in this movie, except with more detail. I can proudly say that this design is something we've seen all the way back when TF5 was hitting retail stores on DVD. Some of you guys may remember those images that were released by concept art designer Furio Tedeschi, which featured an unused design of Optimus Primal for Transformers The Last Knight. Funny enough, it's been a go-to concept that I and many other YouTube channels have been guilty of passing off as what Optimus Primal will look like in Transformers Rise of the Beast. And it looks like it actually was what he would look like. Mind you, there have been some obvious modifications to this concept, such as the weathered metal and blotches of fur added along his shoulders, but the upper chest and face from Furio's original design remain intact. And I'm digging this because, as I mentioned, it was an unused concept for The Last Knight, and one of the biggest criticisms Transformers fans had against the Bumblebee movie was the robot model's simplistic designs compared to those of the Bayformers that had a lot of detail. They considered the B-bots a drastic decline in in detail and felt like they no longer matched the realistic world they were hiding in. And I agree to some extent. The models aren't as detailed as the ones from the previous continuity, not to mention that the CGI in Bumblebee was nowhere near hitting those strides of the first Transformers movie. I think a lot of you will agree with me when I say that the CGI still looks like a huge spike in quality compared to that of something like Age of Extinction, which at the time of its release was considered a drop in visual fidelity. Like, I love what the movie is going for with a balance between classical G1 and futuristic designs, but the VFX just look a little off-putting in certain areas, especially when characters like Optimus Prime are in a real forest setting as opposed to the fully CGI war-ridden planet of Cybertron we saw in Bumblebee. I usually be nervous about something like this, but I remind myself that we just got this trailer out in December and the movie still has till next summer to hit theaters. I believe that's more than enough time for the visual effects department to add the proper amount of touch-ups to help the Cybertronians blend in with the real world they're inhabiting. So yeah. But getting back to the trailer, Optimus Primal is confronted by the OG Optimus Prime, who he lets know he's not the one the Autobots should fear. There's a darkness coming, and when hearing this, we're inclined to assume that Optimus Primal is referring to Scourge and the Terracons. He's the one who's going to serve as the primary antagonist in this film, and will more than likely serve as Prime's rival since he also features a Peterbilt truck alt mode. But a part of me wants to believe that Primal is referring to the actual source who sent Scourge, whom I'm suspecting to be Unicron. His original origin ties directly to Unicron since he was one of his evil minions, so I'd like to think that Scourge will essentially serve as a messenger, someone who will be a pawn and lead into the eventual appearance of Unicron. But moving on, we see Noah jump into a classic Porsche 964 that features the Autobot insignia on the steering wheel. If you ask me, this scene serves as a reference to the '07 movie where we see Sam Witwicky sitting inside the dated and dusty Camaro who's later revealed to be the Autobot Bumblebee. Whenever I see moments like this, I think of it as the driver forming a pact/bond with the robot they're riding in, and this makes me believe that Mirage will essentially serve as Noah's official Autobot partner, because we see him riding inside the vehicle/transformer in multiple scenes. Unless you've been living under Patrick Starr's basement, you know that this mysterious Porsche alt mode wielding bot won't be Jazz as many are assuming. He'll actually be Mirage. A key instance that confirms this is the fact that we see him project multiple holograms of himself to trick a police officer. This is something he's been known to do in the original G1 lore, and it looks like the movie is going to stick to that. The only problem is he won't feature his classic alt mode. He'll just be an amalgamation of his old robot design with Jazz's car design. So take of that what you will. Like, I know that Mirage's iconic race car mode isn't street legal and had to be changed to something else. I just don't know why that something else had to be our boy Jazz's vehicle, who's been strangely out of commission since 2007 when he got killed by Megatron. So I guess this is as close as we'll get to having a more G1 accurate version of Jazz, especially when we see this transformation sequence of Mirage hitting this stylish spin shortly after smoothly ejecting Noah from the driver's seat. It's going to be fun seeing how the two play off of each other's personalities, especially given the fact that Mirage will be voiced by Pete Davidson. But moving on, we get a shot of Bumblebee's new alt mode in motion. This is going to be an off-road vehicle for him, which will obviously allow him more flexibility when driving on rougher terrain compared to the usual asphalt he's accustomed to. Not only do we see B, we also see another young cadet from the Maximals faction, which is the cool Ultra Tech bot himself, Cheetor. We had heard that he'd be in the Beast roster, but it was never really harped on like the other characters were, such as Primal, Rhinox, and Airraiser. But here he is, and he's looking very good. In a later scene, we see him vault over a rock while flipping into his robot mode. Like, all the Beast cast characters look very faithful to their OG BW designs, and they look a lot more detailed in all the right places. What I will say is that I didn't expect them all to look so weathered and mostly metal, especially after hearing that the team who did the CG for the recent Lion King remake specifically worked on these cast of characters. I have my fingers crossed that we have the characters fully covered in fur and skin in a flashback scene when they first scan their Beast modes. Anyways, the next scene we got features two characters who will most likely be rivaling one another, and that's Airraiser and Nightbird. During this high-speed sequence, we see Nightbird tailing behind Noah and Mirage in vehicle form, and then we see her giving chase on leg in robot mode. But she's intercepted by Airraiser, who now possesses Fire Breath, which she uses to destroy the bridge before Nightbird can catch up with Mirage. But it looks like that won't slow her down, because she's later seen flying during the epic battle. From there, we get a look at RC, who's been given a slight modification to her robot design from the Bumblebee movie. Similar to her Revenge of the Fallen and Tia Prime counterparts, she'll be a motorcycle, specifically a Ducati 916, as you can see the logo going along her right thigh. It also looks like she'll be able to fit inside Wheeljack's vehicle, who we see is a brown and white 1970s Volkswagen Type 2 panel bus. These bad boys were known for their simplistic yet spacious design, which could fit up to 8 passengers in them. And as you can see, RC will be using that space to her advantage as she occasionally jumps out to provide firepower as she gets shot at by Battle Trap. She'll be voiced by Liza Koshy, who's a popular YouTuber and comedian. But moving on, we get an alarming scene where we see the main antagonist Scourge impale Bumblebee and blast him in that same area shortly afterwards. I'm not sure if this is any indication that our favorite little Autobot cadet will bite the bullet this time around or what. If Paramount does decide to go through with this move, it'll be a bold one on their part, because Bumblebee has grown into a popular character and pretty much rivals Optimus Prime as the flagship character of the franchise, not only in the movies but on the TV side of things as well. Either way, this moment will prove to leave a lasting effect on B, similar to the loss of his vocal processors. Anyways, as you can see, Scourge looks to be a very intimidating character, and he'll boast an even more intimidating voice in the form of Peter Dinklage. If you ask me, that's the perfect casting choice, because Peter Dinklage has a lot of timbre and power in his voice despite being a little person. That factor and his masterclass acting skills easily makes viewers forget that he's a dwarf. So yeah, but moving on, the next shot we get is of the Maximal tank and master strategist Rhinox. He'll be portrayed by longtime Transformers voice acting veteran David Sobolov. We're talking roots that go all the way back to the original Beast Wars show where he voiced Depth Charge. He voiced Shockwave in Transformers Prime, and he was recently featured in Bumblebee as Blitzwing. And now he'll be providing his voice for not only Rhinox, but also Battle Trap for Transformers Rise of the Beast. And we see both of them on the battleground in that epic scene, like this shot of Rhinox in his robot mode, and this full-on epic shot of Battle Trap in his robot mode where he's seen colliding with Optimus Primal. Now in the next scene, we see an awesome and highly detailed transformation for Optimus Prime, which is the first time we've seen this iteration of the character ever transform. One thing I'm not really feeling about this version though is the retractable mouth plate. I thought it was a nice homage to Optimus Primal, who was never featured during the Bay era, but he's here now, and Optimus Prime should just keep the mouth plate on throughout the entire movie. I don't know, I just feel like that's what gives him that strong stoic look. But right here, it looks like the design team literally ripped his face from the Bay model to please the fans who love that look. It already felt like they were riding the nostalgic coattails of the films when they made this version of B look fairly similar to how he does in the Bay canon, but it's been made more apparent by the choice of making Optimus Prime have lips. Top of that onto the fact that he'll be using the Energon infused arm blades as opposed to his classic Energon X, and it's being made even more obvious. But minor gripes aside, this trailer has made a lot of fans, including myself, sold on this movie even more. And mind you, this was nothing more than a teaser that's probably only given a fraction of what will be in the full movie. Let's not forget that this movie's release date was pushed back to film more footage, so there's no telling how epic and lengthy it'll be. But that's all I got for you guys today. What are your thoughts on all these details? Do you like the designs? And do you think the VFX team has enough time to add some touch-ups before the big release? Let me know down in the comments below. As always, I'd appreciate it if you like or dislike the video. It doesn't have to be a thumbs up, it can be a thumbs down. But if you really enjoyed the video, I'd appreciate it if you shared it with all your friends and followers on all the different social media outlets. Sharing really helps these videos out. But once again, this is your boy RBG signing out on another video. I'll catch you guys later. Peace out.